What's good, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. FG2G here, and I got a little food for thought, word of encouragement, a little motivation for you as well as for myself, and we'll just call it the rescue. So imagine with me for a second, okay? You're out and about with your friends one evening, and you all just had dinner, right? And it was the most delicious, satisfying meal that you had had all week. You know, the weather outside is amazing. It's the perfect time to just take a stroll and of course, walk off the meal that you had. And so you all are walking and talking and just whatever y'all like to do. And you hear gunshots fired. And they sound rather close, right? But you don't know where they came from. And so you're looking around to your right and you don't see anything yet. You see people running, but you don't see where it came from. And then you look to your left and you realize that your friend has become a victim of one of the stray bullets. Now, in that moment, you have just entered into a state of emergency, right? And so what do? You call out for help. You cry out for help to, for one, the people around, but then also you make sure that either you or someone near you calls 911, right? Now, when you make that emergency call, an operator picks up. And when the operator is talking to you, they're asking you questions, right? Like, what's the emergency? Because they also need to know, okay, well, what kind of help do you need? Do you need the police? Do you need the firefighters, EMT? What do you need? And then just in general, kind of a synopsis of what's going on. Now, as you're talking to them, they've already dispatched help, right? They've gotten information from you and they're trying to keep you as calm as possible. But help is on the way. And then eventually you begin to hear sirens. And so that's reassuring. The EMT take their vitals and then get them on the stretcher and transport them to the hospital. From there, I've never been a doctor. I don't know what it's like to work in the emergency room, but I can only imagine that whatever clothing that they had on, it has to be cut away, right? And depending on how much bleeding, there might even have to be some sort of cleanup so they can see, okay, where is the bleeding coming from? Where is the actual wound? Okay, we see the entry wound. Is there an exit wound? Or is there a bullet and or bullets lodged into the body? So x-rays, things of that nature, so they can assess what is going on and how best to fix it. And so once they see where it is, okay, sometimes there might have to be cuts made. You might even have to get out the spreaders so that we can keep the area open. We have to navigate through the anatomy of the patient, right? And once the bullet is located, you try to extract it as efficiently as possible, effectively as possible. You don't want to cause any further damage, right? And so prayerfully, the bullet and or bullets are extracted, and then the wound is closed up. They're bandaged up, and they are sent to the recovery. And then from there, depending on, usually with some sort of surgery, there's a rehabilitation period, whether it's just simple exercises that you can do at home, or maybe even a program that you might have to attend, right? So with all of that being said, I got a question. Okay, and just take your time with it. But whenever in the scenario, whenever you made the 911 call, were the bullets immediately removed from your friend? No, they weren't. But from the very moment you made the phone call, help was on the way, right? And so it's easy in the scenario to see how, everything from the phone call to the EMT to the transportation to the hospital, the clothes being cut away, spreader, suture, navigating alongside vital organs, extracting the bullet, the closing of the wound, the recovery room, the rehabilitation. we can see that all of that was part of the rescue, right? It's easy to see that then. But let's consider this. Sometimes in life we find ourselves in a state of emergency. And so what do? We cry out, we call on God for help. And that help doesn't always necessarily come instantaneously. And it doesn't always look the way we think it should look. But I want to encourage you, as I encourage myself, by saying this. From the very moment we call on God, He hears us, right? Help is already on the way. He has already dispatched angels on our behalf. So don't get weary in the waiting room. Okay, just know that everything that you have had to endure up until this point, it was all a part of the rescue. All right? Be encouraged. Peace.